I was talking to a Christian legislator the other day about the Marital Contract Recording Act, Senate Bill 562, House Bill 233. And the legislator said something to me that reminded me of the famous story of the Hebrew boys in the fiery furnace. You remember in the Bible, it tells the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Nebuchadnezzar, who raised this image up on the plain and told everyone that at a certain sound, everybody was to bow down and worship the image. And you'll recall in the story that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were government officials under Nebuchadnezzar, said, "Boy, it sure would be disruptive if we were to look like we're disobeying the king, and we would get thrown into a fiery furnace. So let's go ahead and bow down to the image, but not bow down in our hearts. We'll convince ourselves that we're not really bowing down because we're not bowing down in our hearts." You remember the story and how they then avoided being thrown into the fiery furnace. Well, if that's the way you remember the story, it's completely backwards. They said, "We're not going to bow down. Throw us in the fire if you have to." And the reason that story came to mind is that we were talking about the fact that there are a number of ministers who act as agents for the state for carrying out the state policy on marriage. They're designated by law as people that can solemnize a state civil marriage. And the forms have been changed since the Supreme Court's decision in Obergefell versus Hodges about same-sex marriage to indicate that bride and groom are no longer necessarily a part of any understanding on the state of what a civil marriage is. But these ministers believe God defined marriage exclusively and exhaustively in terms of male and female, and there can't be any other combinations of persons. And to serve on behalf of the government to sign a form that indicates it could be bridegroom or partner in any combination of the two, well, that's contrary to what they believe, and it creates a conscience problem. But this legislator was saying, well, as long as they're only marrying a man and a woman, the law doesn't make a marriage. The law can't create marriage. It's the promise of the people that create a marriage. And why should ministers care what they sign? Well, that's really what Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego could have said. It doesn't really matter if I bow down, as long as in my own heart I know what I'm doing. If you would like to see ministers in Tennessee no longer forced to have to sign forms that in good conscience they cannot sign, then I hope you will learn more about the Marital Contract Recording Act, Senate Bill 562, House Bill 233. Let's free the marital relationship that God gave to man and woman from the grip of the government so that ministers can once again conform their behavior to the higher law they believe in without being forced to bow down to the law of the state of Tennessee.